For 99% of human history, life was hard. For most of that 99%, it was brutally hard. We were pushed to the limits of our endurance. We faced the hungriest predators and the harshest environments Earth had to offer. Life was an endless struggle to get out of bed, find food, find shelter, defend ourselves against other predators, defend our turf from other humans, dodge disease, death, disaster. And yet there is nothing more precious than life. And what is more remarkable than a life forged in such conditions? Hello and welcome to this course, a learning experience. As you know, our species has been around for about 2.5 million years. And until relatively recently, life was tough, really tough. For most of our history, the story goes like this. We are a resourceful, highly adaptable creature who survived multiple ice ages, who mastered tool-making and fire-making, whose population spread across the globe. Our ancestors ventured into every niche and cranny of Earth, surviving on every edible insect, every fishable fish, every huntable mammal, however big or small. We mastered the use of weapons and warred endlessly with other human groups. If there was anything to be said about our species for most of our existence, it is that we are tough. We adapted, evolved, and persisted despite countless dead ends, extinctions, and disasters. Okay, but let's ask a question. Was life really so simple? Take a moment and think about what you have to do to survive. Think about everything you need to get done each day. And then imagine doing all of that while learning the intricate details of your craft. Imagine doing all of that while trying to innovate and improve your situation, pushing forward and not falling behind. All of that is hard enough in the comfort of a modern home. Imagine having to do it outside, naked, vulnerable, threatened by extinction, by starvation, exposure, injury. That's the kind of environment we grew up in. And yet, we still innovated. We still pushed forward. And frankly, I don't think we've ever been the same since. So this course is different from any course I've ever taught before. Because it's not really a course, it's an investigation, an exploration, an homage to that. I want to show you what I'm talking about. After 1 million years of struggle, of simply fighting to see the next sunrise, something extraordinary happened. We began to create. Not for survival, not for utility, but for something else. Something deeper. We see it deep in the caves of the world, far from the reach of the sun. Not in the living spaces, but in the sacred, hidden chambers. A handprint, outlined in pigment, a magnificent charging bison, painted with breathtaking skill and observation. Why take the time, the energy, the precious resources to do this? This was the inner flame, first sparking to life. This was the mind, no longer just solving problems of survival, but beginning to process the experience of survival. The art was a language beyond words. It was a way to say, I was here. This is what I saw. This is what filled me with awe and terror. It was the birth of storytelling. Not just recounting where the herds were, but telling the story of the hunt of fear, the triumph, the respect for the spirit of the animal that gave its life. This was how knowledge became wisdom, how experience became culture. The struggle to live had given us stories to tell. And in telling them, we began to understand ourselves. But the world was still a terrifyingly unpredictable place. Why did the herds sometimes not come? Why did a good hunter sometimes fall ill? The mind that could plan a hunt and paint its story now sought answers to the biggest questions of all. Why? What is my place in all of this? This is where ritual was born. We see evidence of careful, ceremonial burials, with tools and flowers placed alongside the body. This isn't just disposal. It's a signal of belief, a belief in something beyond. Perhaps they danced to call the spirit of the rain. Perhaps they wore masks to embody the animals they revered and relied upon. These rituals were a technology for the soul. They were a way to exert a sense of control over the uncontrollable, to find meaning in the randomness of a harsh world, to process the grief of loss and the fear of the unknown. This wasn't a retreat from reality, it was a profound engagement with it. The struggle had forced us to look outward for solutions. Now, we began the even more complex journey of looking inward. We began to build a world not just of resources, but of meaning. So what is the final product of this million-year forge? What is the ultimate legacy of all that ice? All those predators? All that social tension and loss? It is not just our upright bodies or our large brains. It is the human spirit itself. That stubborn, indefinable drive to push through, the resilience that allows us to get back up after a fall, the curiosity that drives us to explore new lands, both physical and intellectual, the hope that allows us to plant a crop, even in a drought. That feeling you get when you face a difficult challenge, today that knot in your stomach, that urge to persevere that is not a modern invention. That is your ancient inheritance. It is the echo of an ancestor staring down a winter-esque freeze and deciding to build a better shelter. It is the whisper of a storyteller by a fire, ensuring the lessons of the past were not lost. The forge of struggle did not create a perfect being. It created a resilient one, an adaptable one, of being capable of great compassion and incredible creativity. You carry that forge within you. Every time you choose to endure, to care, to create, or to hope, you are honoring that legacy. You are keeping the inner flame burning. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wait a minute, you're telling me that I'm just a product of circumstance. I can't help but be a certain way. I can't help but have certain tastes and proclivities. Frankly, I agree. In some sense, we are products of circumstance. We are shaped by our upbringing, our socioeconomic status, our culture, and yes, we are highly adaptable. And yes, we learn to overcome the circumstances we are given. But I don't think it's quite accurate to say that we are only that. I think something happened in those caves. That spark that ignited. I think we gained an internal thermostat that set our temperature higher than our environment. I think we found a way to tell stories to ourselves. More important than our DNA, more influential than our instincts. We have the ability to interpret our experiences, assign them meaning, and move forward accordingly. That means we can always turn toward the light, no matter how dark things get. It also means that none of us will ever have the exact same story. Each of us is marked by a unique set of events, losses, challenges, and triumphs. And each of us must forge our own path from the inside out. The legacy of struggle is an invitation to reflect on where you are today and how you got here. I want you to consider what challenges you have overcome and what obstacles you face. How have they changed you? What skills have you learned? What values have you embraced? Have you found ways to adapt and thrive in spite of adversity? Most importantly, what stories have you told yourself about these experiences? Stories of victimization or stories of triumph? Because your story matters. It becomes part of the larger story of humanity, which is a story of resilience, of adaptation, of hope. Your story matters because it shapes your identity, your self-esteem, and your future actions. Just like the artists in those caves, you have the power to shape your experience. You can make meaning out of chaos. You can transform pain into purpose. And you can honor your struggles by growing from them. And now I want to hear your story. Please share in the comments below what challenges you have faced and what you have learned from them. What stories have you told yourself about your experiences? Thank you for joining me on this course, and thank you for keeping the inner flame alive.